Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today's an episode 137. In today's episode, we are going to dive into the runner and chaser dynamics and myths and beliefs that we have around the runner and the chaser. Often on this journey, we feel that one is a runner, so-called divine masculine, the one that all of a sudden stopped talking to you, does not want to communicate, does not want to pursue this connection no longer. And then there's you, divine feminine, who is called chaser. In today's episode, I want to bring a little bit of a light and maybe some kind of an information that we don't see it outside often on this journey. There's a lot of information about chaser, runner. If you putting out this energy, you are this chaser. If you do this, you are the chaser. You must stop doing all of these things if you want your twin flame to return. But in today's episode, I'm going to also bring you a light that there is a process involved with that. So whether you're doing right or wrong, in a bigger picture, it doesn't matter. Of course, there are energetic connections and energetic things that we need to shift and change. And we're going to get into all of that today. So who is the runner? Who is the chaser? Why there is this dynamic on Twin Flame Journey? Why do you feel so much pain? Why it is so difficult to get them out of your head? All of these questions, we're going to find the answer today. Right before we're going to dive into runner and chaser dynamics, as we have a couple of days more left, so any one of you who comments on Spotify or on YouTube, I love your comments, has a chance to win $100 on their bank account, and you can do whichever thing you want to do with that money. And so your comments are more than welcome. And we will be choosing the winner on 31st of May, on Saturday. You will see that on Instagram. Links are all in the description. So thank you for being here. And if you find this episode useful, helpful, anything, please like, subscribe, comment, share the message, because some of you might just need to hear that today. So let's begin. The number one thing about chaser and runner dynamics would be, let's say, who is a chaser? So what internet is telling to us, or the videos what we have seen, and I saw it as well when I had my separation, that in the sense of the chaser is a divine feminine and the one who is going to, like, looking forward for that connection, wants this connection, wants to find out what they're doing, what is happening to them, why I'm feeling so much pain, when they are going to come back. All of this from the energy of lack, meaning of they made me to feel so whole. My twin made me to feel so much love, so much connection. There was so much inside. And now when there is a silence and they no longer speak to me, I am the chaser. I'm in the lack. In a certain way, it is right. That's what we do in the beginning. And so who is the runner, so-called, is divine masculine, who is running away from you. It doesn't have anything to do with the gender. And also, actually, these terms, we are just using these terms just to say we have both energies inside of us. And that's the magic. That's actually the magic, not about separating divine feminine and divine masculine. But we are just using these terms right now to bring a clarity, to understand. Although, I just want to remind you, you are one. You are one consciousness, you are one love, you are unity. And again, I'm going to ask the same question. Who is your twin flame? Is it another person? Or is it you? And what your soul tells you. On Twin Flame Journey, we know that when you meet your twin flame, you meet yourself. Like in that sense, yourself, your soul's essence, and you're one. You're not separate. But coming back to the divine masculine, so let's say the runner. And often we have these beliefs that the runner does not feel what you feel. The runner is running from you because you are chasing. Or the runner is not ready for the connection. Or the runner never felt anything what you felt. All of these things, I'm going to debunk today a little bit. And I will explain why. So the first thing is, before we dive into the runner and chaser, I want to say that separation is part of this journey. The reason you're going to separate is it's divinely planned. So whether you were doing the right thing or wrong thing, whether your frequency went into a lower vibration or higher vibration, the twin flame journey separation is essential. It's part of the journey. Or an obstacles in between, meaning of you can't be together for this reason or that reason or this or that, and there is more of a miscommunication. So I just want to say, because I hear that often when there is a pressure for the so-called chaser, the divine feminine, that, you shouldn't send them a message. You shouldn't think of them. You shouldn't love them. You shouldn't feel this. You have to remove all of the messages. You have to remove all of the old conversations, pictures, everything that you have from them, because you're chasing them energetically. And there is a truth in there. Don't get me wrong. There is a truth, and we get to there. But the first thing is the separation is already written onto this journey. So in the big picture, you actually are not doing anything wrong. You're not chasing. The separation is here for you to grow, and often to grow spiritually and go deep. And that's why it's very painful. And that's why it feels unbearable. And in the beginning of that pain, we, of course, looking at the phone non-stop to see if they are online, if they have replied your message, if they are posting something on social media, or you are posting something on social media to get their attention. And that, of course, now shows us something. When we meet our twin flame, we feel the ultimate love. The love that we have never, ever felt before. And it feels so divine, so aligned. Like from that moment you crossed the eyes, you felt some electricity in your body. Or when you hold the hands, or when you had the first kiss. Or maybe it happened a little later to you, because not everything is timely wide, like put it together. But you felt something. And then also you started to feel that I can never feel this way again if I don't have that person in my life. And then they ghost you. They disappear. And you might not never see them again. And then you have this longing and lack. You feel like I can never be whole if I don't have this person. If this person never is going to say to me, I love you, I want to be with you, I felt that connection, I felt the love, you are a divine to me. We are waiting for them to come. And so now here, I'm going to explain about what is the chaser energy on this dynamic. And are you doing something wrong? Number one, if that just happened to you, the separation just happened to you, or even a couple of months ago, let's say, I don't like putting a timeline, but I'm just putting some, let's say 6 to 9 months ago, you are still in the process of alignment. One thing I know about this journey, or do I know? That's always, when I use these terms, it makes me to feel like, oh, I am the smartest, but I'm not. But one of the things I can say, when you have met your twin flame, and we're talking of a true twin flame right now, Not a romantic relationship, not a breakup, not something that that has to be the relationship. I'm not saying you cannot have a relationship with your twin flame. I see this daily. But not every breakup is a twin flame breakup. And one of the things to know that is, of course, if it triggered your spiritual awakening. If it triggered inside of you to go deeper, deeper, and deeper. And separation is one of them. I don't know how many relationships all of you have had. I haven't had many. But I can tell a difference in between meeting a soulmate and meeting a twin flame. One of the things is, with soulmate, it's very, very beautiful. You meet, you have beautiful time together. There is no separation. But with twin flame, you meet, you have electricity. A lot is happening in your body, in your mind. You can't sleep, you can't eat. A lot is like a turbulence inside of you. And you both feeling it somehow. But it's very difficult to describe and connect to this. And then all of a sudden, it's like, everything is gone. You met for a very short period of time, some of you longer time. There is no exact timeline of all of these things. Because again, I say our souls have different evolution. We are not the same. So that's why not everything is the same. But separation is there for your good and for your twin's good. But it is painful. And so, just to say that chaser's energy, when we are now thinking of that, is not just a physical action. It is a frequency. And that's where I often talk about it. That you need to shift and change your frequency. Number one thing what you have to do is to start trusting that connection. That you are no longer separate. And it has nothing to do with the fact of you thinking about them, you loving them, all of that. We get to that point. But what I want to say is a number one thing is that you trust that connection. In order to change your frequency, it's the trust that has to come in. And that's why very often on this journey, we have a doubt first. For example, the separation begin and you start Googling why I can't get this person out of my head, why I'm obsessed about it, when it's gonna stop. And then step by step, you start coming across with a twin flame information. And sometimes it clicks inside of you. You feel, that's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly what I felt. And then we start searching and connecting to all the twin flame information we can. Because all of a sudden something makes sense what is happening inside of you. But then you're trying all of these methods. You're trying to, I will not think of my twin flame. I will not do this. I will remove, erase. I will ask signs from the universe. And you are consuming this that I need proof, I need proof, I need proof. I'm going to say to here, I did exact same. The separation process is very confusing because it does not make sense to our mind at all. I remember when I first wrote it down on my journal and on my phone was that there is a fight between your mind and soul. The soul is not trying to whisper you everything, but the mind is trying to consume. And I was the same. Then I realized, okay, I am the chaser. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to say it's impossible to stop while you are in a process. And I want to bring it in here, an example that maybe opens up for you to understand that there is a process involved. So let me tell you that, for example, today you will put a seed in the ground. And you want to eat, let's say, an apple. You're putting a seed of an apple tree into the ground. And now you can do anything. You can water this apple as much as you want. You can say the words for this. You can affirm. You can do anything you wish. But the tree will not start growing once it's ready. Once the process is there. Once its seed is gonna get the roots, starts to grow, then you see it's going and going. Or the same with baby, for example. Us as humans. It takes 9 months normally for a woman to carry a baby. So, if you would like to have a baby tomorrow, or you want to rush the process, will you get the baby? If you are not following what your body is telling you, will you get it? It's a process. Energies has to collide, come together. Feminine, masculine energies are coming together. There is a moment of light. Now we have seen that when the sperm goes into the egg, there's a light explosion. Same as when you met your twin. There was a light explosion. So now, of course, it goes more for women. Unfortunately, men, you cannot experience the pregnancy, but you can take a seed idea the same way if you like gardening or something along the lines. To understand, or growing a muscle. You want to have a six-pack today. Will you have it if you do it one time? You have a process, and there is an always process involved in everything. Of course, now you heard me saying something before. For example, you put the seed down. You put the seed into the soil today. But then you feel, I want this apple today. I want this apple to happen today. I need to eat this apple. I don't even know how long it actually takes when the apple tree will give the first fruit to us. You can Google or ask ChatGPT for me for that. Let's put it takes 5 years. But you are in a lack energy. You want it right now. You're hungry. You want to eat the apple. You got the seed. So you start doing everything a lot in that process. I water, I put the vitamins, I put the cover, then I take off the cover, I put more sun, so you're constantly obsessing over that little seed that you eventually might kill it because of the over attention, over energy. Why? Because your stomach is empty and you are in lack. So the same example applies to twin flame dynamics. If you start feeling and not trusting, and I always talk about the trust, I know it's easier to say than do, I know that. But when you don't trust the connection, when you don't trust the love that you felt, that everything that you felt, and here are today's homework for every one of you I would give. Write down 10 things that you felt or your twin said to you when you met. You can even close your eyes, write them down. Everything that they said about the connection, about what they felt, about what your body felt. That brings back the trust, that it was not something crazy. Why I talk about the trust frequency? I remember that happened to me around Lionsgate time, that back then I had no idea about Lionsgate. But I remember that this energy, this is why, again, for me, it's a very powerful portal. I always celebrate Lionsgate with a huge energetic work. This year, the tickets are coming to sale in the beginning of June now. So twinflameawakeningjourney.com, you can get your ticket to activate your energy on that day to that portal. And on Patreon, I actually put it out today that I have a couple of questions to ask from you, and you can write in the comments what you would like to do before. Are you interested in certain things? And also the Kundalini questions you have and confusion you have around it. I will be making episodes about it. I will explain about it. I know I went a little bit off from here. So yes, this is on twinflameawakeningjourney.com or on Patreon. So have a look on, all the links are in the description. So now coming back to that, when I had this, I was so weak. I was so weak that I could not get up anymore. So meaning of, I couldn't anymore bear that separation and all of this information that I'm doing something wrong. Yes, I deleted all of the messages. Yes, I tried not to think of them while I go to bed, and I feel their energy. I feel the connection. I feel everything. I cry so much that I've never cried before. I cannot eat. I cannot function. Everything seems to be for me like surreal. And I feel how my body is just collapsing and collapsing and collapsing. And then I receive the information of saying, you are in a chaser energy. You are in the energy of lack, which is true, definitely, because I was not loving myself. I was not love. Now I can say I was a terrorist for myself. I didn't know what love is, and that's very normal. And that's very normal for your runner to feel the same way. Until we haven't experienced this divine love, it's very difficult to know what love is. But what I want to say to you, and how from here on, I surrendered. I remember the words I said to God, to universe, to Creator. I said, if this twin flame journey is true, if I have met my twin flame, then I trust it and I no longer question and ask for it. I just let it go. And 3 weeks later, I received the message from my twin flame after about 4 months or something like silence. And that's why I talk about trust. Before your twin can return to your life, you need to have a trust that this is real. If you go back and forth, there is an energy that doesn't believe that you have it. Another thing is, like I said, chaser energy is not a physical action. It is a frequency. So it's not the messages you send, the songs you post, or let's say the tears you cry, or any of these things. It is the energetic imprint that is behind those actions. So what I'm trying to tell you, I did that for a very long time. Everything I posted on social media was within a intention for me that then he will reach out. Everything I did from that place. Because I wanted it so badly. I wanted this attention. I wanted that someone says to me, I love you. I felt the same way. Can we meet up? I wanted all of this. I'm very normal and very human because we are so confused what is happening. We want to know what they're doing. So now how that applies to chaser and runner. It is because you are already feeling like the inside of you that I'm not one when I don't receive the message, I love you. When I don't get the confirmation from that person. And that's why I gave you a homework today to write down 10 things that your twin has told you when you met or when you had a conversation. So that's why everything what you're vibrating beneath your words, like your silence, everything your spiritual practices, everything you do is people feel energy. And I just bring it in another example here. I have been in the business world for a very long time. I started when I was at the age of 19, worked very hard, built myself up. And that was a very interesting, and now of course with my years of wisdom, my failures, my successes, all of this, I started to realize how when you are in lack, no one is gonna connect to you. When I have, let's say, a business partner who wants to become a business partner or something like that, and they are in a lack energy, it's just like it doesn't work. And it's the same on twin flame journey. when you are in lack of love that you haven't seen inside of you. And I'm not here to say that there's something wrong. I went through enormous heart opening, enormous shift from there. And now every time, for example, let's say, okay, now it's a bit difficult for me to say that, but I bring it as an example because it's not something I feel. I really feel connected to everything. Like another day I was walking and I'm so grateful that this island saved me. And I picked the lemon from the tree and I smell it. And you know, I have that feeling immediately like, oh my God, I live in a paradise. I walk on the beautiful street in the early morning when the sun is rising. I pick up the lemon that is fresh, smells divine. And that's all I need. But now when we are in lack of sleep, lack of money, lack of love, lack of connection, lack of anything, we tend to chase for that. We start looking for it from somewhere else, not inside of us. So, and that's why, how do I say, it's in a certain ways, now I'm going to get into that the chaser energy can be when you are thinking about this person all the time. Okay? So, for example, another thing that my soul told me another day, I think it was 2 days ago when I was channeling. Track your time, how much you're thinking about them and how much you're connecting to yourself. Did you manage to take yourself 10 or 15 minutes to yourself to hear what your soul is telling in a meditation, in a connection, and how much energy you were putting out there? So we have to understand that energy is everything. And it's not because thinking of your twin flame is wrong. I know that you cannot get them out of your head. It's like so you can hear that message that stop thinking of them. And yet 2 minutes later, you feel it. Here is another thing that is very, very important. You need to sit with that and not to run from it. So it shows you something, that something is lacking, something is longing, something is in control. And if you have the frequency of, where are they? Why aren't they here yet? What did I do wrong? How do I make them to come back? That frequency is static. And it blocks the clear signal of divine love. How many times I went back on the last message I sent and I was reading it and reading it and reading it and feeling, what did I do wrong? But today's episode, I want to tell you, you did nothing wrong. It is a process. Separation is a process. The next thing is, from that process, is to go within and get rid of the lack energy, why it is there. That's why we call it healing, transmuting the energy. I had to do it too. I never ever thought that things that this pain is going to make me to do. But I had to go within. And that's not always the nicest place to go to, because there are deep, deep secrets, deep life for you. The other thing is, the chaser energy can be also very present when you try to manipulate. So when you try or you start to say things like, or get a certain response, like I said, I was posting on social media, I was doing certain things in order to get an attention. Or when your spiritual practices becomes a strategy. And this is another thing we see. And again, I'm not going to say that courses and all of these things don't work. I believe in truth in everything, and whatever is going to help you, wonderful. But here is one of the things is, if you do anything for them to return, you are manipulating. So for example, if your strategy is sometimes, if I heal this wound, will they come then now? If I send them this message of love, maybe now they will respond. If I now tell them that they are my twin flame, they come back to me, because twin flames has to be together and we are one love. Again, it's not about the action. It is about the frequency. If you're attached to the outcome, the energy becomes heavy. And for your twin, who is really much deeply connected to your soul level, feels that pressure through the shared field. There is a shared field. I'm not making any of this up. And immediately they pull away. Not because they don't care, but because they are responding to the vibration of fear rather than vibration of love. And now I said that business idea before, like I explained. When any of person shows up from the place of fear, not the place of trust, not the place of knowing who they are, what business they have, what they do, and so on, we feel that. And often, nothing's going to happen. But now I also want to say, what is not a chaser energy? So I said to you, if you are attached to the outcome, if you speak your truth just in order for them to return, if you do anything from the place of manipulation, of thinking, oh, I now do this healing, because I talk a lot about energy healing. I talk a lot about Kundalini. I'm a believer of this energy. Why? Because that's the oneness. So many of you know, I had just yesterday, it was so interesting. I came out of the shower and I was thinking of one person. And I was really thinking, like, I really hope, because I haven't heard from him for a very long time. And he hasn't been on the workshops and things like that. And he was there before. And I was just thinking, and for me, it's not, like I always say, none of my workshops, none of my so-called services, if we want to call them services, for me, they are just a support. None of these things are here to keep people on a loop. That come to the one session, come to the second, you have 5 million things to heal and transform and transmit. No, for me, it's not. For me, it is a support way for getting somewhere, because I know how much it helped me. And now, if I can create a space and a field, I'll do that. Because what I love, and it might sound crazy, but I love when people are in alignment with their soul, when they speak the truth, when they're connected, and they are no longer in that energy of chaser, that what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. They hear the truth. They can speak their truth. They can embody their truth. And they feel alive. I've always said my retreats and everything, because when I felt the inner union within me, I knew that I wish everyone to feel that. And that's why everything that I have designed so far, or what my soul has told me to do, are from the place of love. Nothing from, how do I say, even, I don't even have a word for this. What would be the gain? The gain is, for me, is seeing you growing. So coming back to that person, I was thinking of this person. I was really, like, deeply thinking. I said, I really wish he's following his path. I really wish he's happy. And I wish that with a lot of you, actually. But it was just an interesting example that happened the day after. And I was like, I really wish that he's on his path. He's following his guidance. He's there. And in the evening, I had a message from him on my Instagram, which has taken, like, I don't remember when we last spoke. And I was like, yes, he heard me and he took an action. He received the love energy, what I was sending to him. And that's why I say, what is not the chaser energy? And this is here we go often wrong about it. That when we feel that when we're sending love when we connect, when we speak our truth, we are in a chasing energy. No. How? Because not all the connections, not all the communications, not everything is chasing. There's a place and a frequency where you can think of your twin flame, feel them and send them love. And this is not chasing at all. It is pure, neutral, open-hearted connection when it arises from the space of love rather than fear. And today, I give you a lot of homework somehow. Think of yourself, am I operating on fear? They're not going to return. They don't love me. My life is not going to be good if they are not here. If you're operating on, I can put a list over here, on these things, then yes, you need to shift that. Then you are in a chasing energy, and in so-called, they feel it too. But when you connect to your twin through the heart space, your heart is open. This is why, again, why I love Kundalini activations, why I love inner dance, why I love holotropic breathwork. Because there the mind stops you to give that fear. And in Kundalini, we know it reprograms all of your nervous system, meaning of the fears you had are starting to go away, but you feel them before. That's why there is no one healing session or one activation or one thing and your life is going to be... It's a process. Like I said, putting a seed today into the soil, you're not going to have an apple tomorrow. Or if you're going to carry the baby, you're not going to give birth tomorrow. There's a process. Everything has a process. Universe has made everything into alignment. But the resistance and keep on repeating the same patterns, not shifting the frequency, then it's very difficult. So when you connect through your twin through the heart space, and this is the question I get often asked, isn't that a chaser energy when I would tell them I love them? One of the episodes, Speak Your Truth to Your Twin Flame, I said that. And then my question is, are you saying to your twin that I love them because you want them to return? Or are you saying to your twin flame that I love you and then they don't say anything to you and you fall back to the black hole of fear, abandonment, rejection? Or are you saying to your twin flame, I love you no matter what, where you are, what you do, because you are me and I love myself? So again, when you connect from the heart space without needing anything back, when you feel the love inside of you and you allow it to exist without resistance, when you send them light because you genuinely want them to be happy, whether or not they come back, this is not chasing. This is not a chaser energy. This is a being in a union consciousness. This is oneness. But it's very, very easy to say that. I know that because like I said, if you have, let's say since you met and all of that transformation, 6-9 months have passed, some of us more, but let's say 6-9 months have passed since you last spoke or there's a separation, there's a process. I don't know how long it's for everyone. For some people, 1 month. I believe it's actually longer. Or for some people, 2 years. And gradually comes, goes, comes, goes, comes, goes. But when you, at one point, you go through the process and then you start shifting. And then magic starts to happen. So when you speak your truth, not because you hope that they will return, but your soul is asking to be expressed. Again, that is not a chaser energy. This is alignment. That's another alignment here. And I read so many of you wrote about it under the truth episode, Speak Your Truth, and it's time to speak your truth. So many wrote to me and said, you know what? I felt liberation first time. I said it out what I had to say, and I felt liberation. But I also know that they have been on my sessions. They have aligned who they are. They're getting there. It's not a linear process. But when you still feel the ache and you're breathing into it, then, and you're allowing it to move without attaching the story to it, that is also not chasing. That is healing. And another thing is that is not chasing energy is when you live your life. You show up in your mission. You are connected to your inner child. You love your body. You expand your light. Not because they will come back to you, but because who you are. Again, this is not chasing energy. So why this matters, why I talk about it this way? Because energy doesn't lie. That's it. That's how simple it is. And there is a process involved. So energy doesn't lie. You can say all the right words. You can take all the right steps. You can do everything like, yes, I'm meditating 2 hours a day. I am doing this because then they will return. But yet your inner vibration is still in lack. Because you have the belief inside of you that I'm not whole until they are here. And then the frequency you're putting out is resistance. And what you resist persists. What you chase flees. And why? Because in the higher realms of consciousness, love cannot be claimed from fear. And it's a very, very difficult thing to swallow. I had a very hard time to understand that I was not loving myself. And I'm forever thankful that my twin came to my life to show me to love myself and not love myself that, oh, I'm so beautiful, I am so successful, or I am this or that, oh, I have beautiful hair. No, none of this. The love for me to be compassionate towards myself. The love for me to see my truth, not to prove to anybody who I am, what I should do. The love for me to just be. You know, one of my favorite things today are, like I said, going on the street and smelling a lemon. And this is love for me. Lying down on the grass and just looking up in the sky and feeling whole with our Mother Earth, feeling whole with all of that. And that's what my twin gave me. It gave me the love. And I haven't spoken a lot about it, how we have reached to that point of ultimate understanding of that love between me and so-called my twin. It's something so beautiful that it brings the tears to my eyes because it's a gift. But I went through the process of getting there, and I had to look at my shadows, and I had to look at my lack, where I was not loving myself. And that was hard. Because it was like I'm naked. And I have to see every single part of me and accept it and let go. And it is not easy. This is why I say that when we're putting ourselves more and more pressure, we feel we're doing something wrong. But at the same time, you're just growing. And you're just becoming love. And I know, another thing I know, when you manage to disconnect from the energy of lack, which is why I say, start connecting to yourself today. Trust. Number one is the trust. Trust that connection. Trust that this person came to your life to awaken something so beautiful and so profound inside of you that it's going to break you apart. Of course, part of this is Kundalini, because Kundalini is going to do the reset. But trust it. It's not about what you do. It's not about being perfect. It's not about knowing what to do. This journey has nothing to do with the knowing steps. That's why I say the runner and chaser dynamic is part of this process. Because if they would have never run, you would have never connected to your soul. And that would have been the idea. I also want to just, although I thought I'm going to end it today already, I just want to say few myths that are there. I say 3 of them, even though I have more. So what I want to say that the chaser is the more awakened twin. Spiritual awakening does not follow any hierarchy. Both twins are awakening, but just in a different ways. So the chaser may be more consciously aware of the connection, but it also doesn't mean that you are more evolved. And I believe that when I said, okay, I have more spiritual connection and everything. I know more. I am there. But still, I was battling with my demons inside. Demons of truth, speaking my truth. Demons of being love and letting the love to come to me. Demons of receiving. Demons of not being good enough. And often the chaser is driven by the unresolved fear and emotional reactivity. While also the runner can awaken through silence, solitude, or very deep soul triggers. My twin had an enormous pain. He admitted to me and said, I went through a hell. I thought I will never come out of it. When you left, it broke me into pieces. And I had exact same thoughts, exact same ideas. Awakening doesn't always look like action. So sometimes it looks like stillness, collapse, avoidance. But that's also how it works. So don't judge if you don't see like exactly yours. Another big myth on this journey, and this is what I hear everywhere, and I heard that. If you stop chasing, your twin will come back. If you now stop doing all of this, thinking of them, not feeling them, not looking at the messages, which I'm going to say there is a truth in there. Because the more energy we give out, the less we have to clear and connect to ourselves. The same goes to gossip. The same thing goes to judging others or anything. Anything you're putting out there for others, that's why I say watch what kind of content you consume. If it makes you feel, oh, why is it like this? Why this person is like that? Everything you're giving to that person, your energy is sacred. So the myth that if you stop chasing, your twin will come back, this turns surrender into a strategy, which is control. And again, I'm not a victim. I don't know why the word victim came. I am the one who tried to do that. I tried to surrender into strategy. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll do that. All right, I'm going to shift that. All right, I'm going to do this. I tried to control the outcome. And guess what? It didn't work. It made more pain. You can't fake detachment to manipulate the spiritual outcome. Your twin will not return because you perform something, you do something. That's why I say never ever do any healing sessions, Reiki sessions, Kundalini, holotropic, I don't know, whatever I've been telling here to do, Kundalini yoga, any of these things, or my workshops, or any of these things that I know when I go to her session, I'm going to have that. They return when your frequency generally shifts into self-union, embodiment, and unconditional love. And not because you want them back, but because you are now in a resonance with love. And that's what they came to teach you. And remember that the universe does not respond to your words, it responds to your energy. Chanting, writing down, saying things out helps you to change and shift the frequency. It's one of another thing. But just if you say, I am surrendered, meanwhile you have a strategy, I'm going to post this on social media, then I'm going to send that letter, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to say this, then You are in control. And that's very normal. Oh, I did all of that. That's why when my assistant or those who have seen me on the retreats, they sometimes say that, how can you just be? My assistant always goes crazy. She's like, how can you just let it be? And how do you manage these things right now, right here? And that's why I say my twin saved my life. He gave me a gift of being here. I'm no longer in the future or in the past or somewhere in between. And that's also my soul's, the reason of that podcast or my retreats or anything I do. Because when you feel that presence, the power of now, you are in a power. You surrender what's come, how it comes. And the last thing is that the runner doesn't care or love the chaser. This is very common, and that comes from the energy of lack. Runners often feel this connection just as deeply as you do when we talk about twin flames. And sometimes they actually feel it more even intensely, but they don't know how to explain. But they're overwhelmed, confused, terrified by this connection. Absolutely terrified. And what they often run from is not from you. It's not from you. It's the parts of themselves that are exposed in your presence. Whether they are not financially secured, let's say they have financial issues, they feel I cannot take care of you or I can't be there. Whether they have abandonment issues, their parents didn't take care, their parents divorced or anything, and all of this is coming up. Whether they had a toxic family situation, whether they've been rejected before so many times and now all of a sudden there is so much love and it feels like, why this person is loving me so much? All of the other people have rejected me. Whether it's also a situation of feeling I'm not good enough. I don't deserve that. I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on. Because you reflect their wounds, their potential, their divinity. And that's a lot to face when inner world is still rooted in survival, suppression, and deep trauma. That's why Kundalini starts from the 3 lower chakras first. Root, sacral, solar. That's why we feel the sexual energy. That's why we feel madness. That's what's happening to us. Because it starts to heal, and it happens to your twin as well. Whether it's today, in 5 months later, or 10 months later, we all have a difference. But it happens. Why I talk about it? Because I thought that my twin also didn't feel anything. And the final one, what I want to say, the chaser job is not to wake the runner up. Your job is to wake yourself up. No matter how powerful this bond is, you cannot spiritually awaken another being through force, urgency, or convincing. And that's not love. That is ego. And I also say about the spiritual healers and everybody, no one is healing, no one is transmuting, no one is doing anything from the force, including myself. We build a field together. We connect together. An awakening happens when the soul is ready, not when the partner is persistent. You're not here to be a twin saver. You're here to become on your own. And that's why anything you can do to connect from the heart, magic starts to happen. So this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about it. There is more, of course, but the time goes so quickly. And I hope you got some kind of insights. Definitely, I feel it needs a second episode because I didn't go into the runner side at all, which I'm happy to do in the next episodes when let the divine time to tell us. So, the main idea of today's episode is it is a process. And you being runner or you being chaser or your twin being runner or being a chaser is not the mistake, it's a process. But the energy of lack needs to be transmuted, the frequency. Because like I said, the universe does not speak your words, the universe speaks your frequency. shift your frequency from the heart space. Heart meditations, heart connections. Let it go. All right. Just a few things to go over. Like I said, on Patreon, we meet on the 8th of June to have another session. We have 2 sessions before Lionsgate arrives in the beginning of June. The tickets for Lionsgate event will be available that you can join online wherever you live and uplift your frequency. On Patreon today, you will see the questions I'm putting down. I'm looking forward to hear your feedback. I'm looking forward to know what do you think you would need, and if you would be interested of one thing. Retreat. We might have one place for Cyprus retreat right now. I haven't heard back from the person who was signed up, and I don't know if I'm sending on the wrong email or something like this. So there might be one place available. Go on the website, put that you would like to come, and we will get in touch with you. We send you all the information. We have the early bird price until end of June. So then the price is going to change if we have still space. But we also will put it up on a website, the Mahashivaratri 2026, which is most likely in Bali. And then I told you that we are building a field. Another day I was just thinking of a Tuscany. I was thinking, wow, I have been in Italy quite a lot, but I haven't been to Tuscany. It would be so lovely to go to Tuscany. And the next day I received an email from our listener who said, we would like to collaborate to organize a Tuscany retreat. I will put all of this on the website that you can sign up, that when we see that people would like to come, connect, soul, expand, come to this, we will make everything happen for you. Because like I said, my soul's mission is for you to feel the light and connection. And then you live in your purpose, wherever you are. And I can think about you time to time and feel on my heart space that I hope you're following your soul. Like I said, none of this podcast, none of my workshop, none of my healing sessions, none of this is here to keep you on a loop. For me, it's to set you free and know your truth. So, my dear chaser, my dear divine feminine, however we want to label it, actually my beautiful soul, you're doing everything right. Let the process go through you. You're beautiful. Lots of love and light.
Let us stop for a minute instead of running. You've always known that if we stop running, that will be done. I wish you knew how much I wished it was different. There's a fire we should put out, but all I know is how to fall back into you. Oh, I wanna see ya. Now I'm ready to be hurt again. I'll end up in your lap while you pull me closer to your chest. I see it in your eyes that you are ready to be hurt again, like nothing else.